Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, ever since I reported this news earlier today that Kell Brook has basically confirmed that he will be facing Errol Spence next and he won't vacate his title, after I dropped that video, surprisingly, there were a number of people that basically said, if Golovkin couldn't knock out Kell Brook, how is Errol Spence going to do it? There's no way Errol Spence could knock out Kell Brook if Golovkin couldn't do it. Now, first off, just to give you guys a little summary, if you missed it or you don't remember what took place in that fight, Kell Brook was actually up on the scorecards by some judges going into the 5th round. Now, sometime before that 5th round, Kell Brook, he suffered an eye socket injury, and that's pretty much what halted the fight. So Golovkin got a technical knockout, but he didn't knock him out, literally. And that's what, once again, the fans are referring to when they say Golovkin wasn't able to do it, so how is Errol Spence going to be able to do it? Let me go ahead and break this down. Clearly, some of these boxing fans, they don't follow the sport close enough. Because if you did follow the sport, when it comes to Errol Spence alone, you guys would know that Errol Spence, he has a reputation of knocking out opponents that other fighters could not knock out. Perfect example, Keith One-Time Thurman could not knock out Bundu. Went 12 rounds. Not only did Keith Thurman go 12 rounds with Bundu, but that turned out to be one of Keith Thurman's most difficult fights. And then you have the Manny Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri fight. Now, Manny Pacquiao managed to knock down Chris Algieri 6 times and still couldn't knock him out. Despite not knocking out Chris Algieri, many fans and boxing media members still praise Pacquiao's performance as one of his best performances in recent years. But once again, he couldn't knock him out. Errol Spence went in there and he was able to knock out Chris Algieri pretty easily. Now let me give you guys some historical examples. Does anyone remember Mike Tyson versus Donovan Razor Ruddock? Well, Mike Tyson, he fought Razor Ruddock twice. In the first fight, it was stopped prematurely. It was a very bad stoppage where Donovan was still in the fight and he got hit with a couple good shots, and I think it was Richard Steele that jumped in and halted the fight very prematurely. So then they had the rematch. This was the guy that Mike Tyson said, and I quote, hit like a fucking mule, right? So then they had the rematch. And in the rematch, the fight went 12 rounds. So with that being said, if we were to go by the logic that the fans in the comment section used, then that means if Mike Tyson couldn't knock out Razor Ruddock, surely no one else could knock him out, right? So why is it when Lennox Lewis faced Razor Ruddock, Lennox Lewis obliterated Razor Ruddock, knocked him out in 2 rounds? Why is that? It is simply because styles make fights. I can make tons of examples, by the way. Sugar Shane Mosley. Let's start with Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto, not only could he not knock out Margarito, but he couldn't even beat Margarito, at least the first time around. Margarito stopped Miguel Cotto, but Cotto had just beat Mosley before he lost to Margarito. So would you expect Mosley to get in the ring and be able to knock out and conquer the guy that Miguel couldn't conquer himself? Styles make fights. And that is the exact reason why Errol Spence has a chance of doing much better against Kell Brook than Gennady Golovkin did. Errol Spence is a much more well-rounded fighter than Gennady Golovkin, and I truly believe it's going to show when he fights against Kell Brook. Now, I've said since day one that I truly believe that Kell Brook will be Errol Spence's toughest fight in the welterweight division. But I'm still picking Errol Spence by knockout. This fight will be very, very entertaining. And this is a good year for boxing. This is a good year of boxing, 2017. The fact that we have Thurman versus Garcia and we're on the verge of getting Kell Brook versus Errol Spence, that right there is already somewhat of a tournament, because we know that eventually the winner of those fights are going to face each other. And then we're going to really have an official king at the welterweight division. Even though I've already said that I truly believe the best welterweight in the world is the winner of Kell Brook versus Errol Spence, because I believe they are the two best welterweights right now. So that's pretty much all I got, guys. I look forward to hearing the official announcement of this fight. And I'll talk to you guys later. I'm on to the next one.
Hi, I'm Brianna.
And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.